Hey, Pastor Josh here. We're reading Genesis chapter 25, verses 1 through 11, and we've come to a point where Abraham's other wife, other concubine, Keturah, is discussed about. Now, we really have to think about chapter 25 as not being chronological. It is more of here's a block of information that is then plopped here, is put right here before we begin to introduce the Jacob story, the story about how Isaac and Rebekah have Jacob and Esau. And so right here, there's there's two parts to chapter 25. You have Abraham. We have the discussion about Abraham's wife Keturah, and then you have the generations of Ishmael and everybody that came from Ishmael. So don't think of this as chronological, because what it does appear is that right after Sarah dies and Isaac takes a wife, it appears, if you're just reading it chronologically, from chapter 24 to 25, particularly 23, where Sarah dies, it appears, even though Abraham is very old in age, well stricken in years, he's able to marry and then have 6 children. And so I think the better way to look at that, rather than seeing this as chronological, is that Keturah was actually another concubine of Abraham. And so Abraham would have had two, would have had Hagar and Keturah. Keturah is not spoken of until now, and that he actually then, after Sarah died, took Keturah as his wife. And I'll try to maybe explain all that here in a minute. I do want to make a point that Jesus seems to make rather clear. That God's original intention was one man with one woman, one husband and one wife. And all of these decisions, that whether they're patriarchs, godly people, doesn't matter. I think we can see when we look at these situations, you see that there is usually all kinds of issues and problems that come from that. God's original intention was one man and one woman, one husband and one wife. So let us look at this genealogy. We'll look at it rather quickly. A lot of names that we only have because they are recorded in Scripture. No other stories about them. So Abraham took another wife whose name was Keturah. Remember, my thesis is going to be that it's not that he just randomly married another wife, but that it was actually a concubine. You see that down here. We'll see that in a second. But that he then married Keturah after Sarah died. So he took another wife. She bore him Zimran, Jokshan, Middan, Median, Ishbak, and Shur. So 6 children. And then we're going to talk about the grandchildren. Jokshan fathered Sheba and Dedan. The sons of Dedan were Ashurim, Letshum, Mishrael. The sons of Midian were Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abidah, and Eldah, and these were the children of Keturah. So we're saying not only the first generation, but the second generation from Keturah. This is a genealogy section. Abraham gave all he had to Isaac. So the point here is that Isaac is the promised son, and Isaac gets everything that Abraham had. The inheritance goes to him. He is the promised child. God will continue to work through Isaac and not through these other folks. Again, you have a Cain and Abel distinction. Now, with these other children, these other people, we're not told anything morally about them, and even what their relationship is exactly to God. But we do know that they are not a part of the chosen line. They are not a part of the Abraham, Isaac, Jacob line that is happening. But even though they are not a part of that line, Abraham does give them gifts. He takes care of them, and he gives them an appropriate gift for them, even though he doesn't give them all of them, because Isaac is the chosen son. And this is why I think it would be well to think that Keturah was already a concubine of Abraham. Again, this is just descriptive of what happened. This is not prescriptive. This is not telling us how we should live. But Abraham apparently had another concubine, Keturah, in addition to Hagar. And then Abraham is sending these concubines away, and then we'll actually have the genealogy of Ishmael after this, which was the son of Hagar. And so Abraham gave these gifts to Isaac while he was still living, and he sent them away from his son Isaac eastward to the east country. Of course, that word eastward, if you think back to the very beginning of Genesis, when Cain was pushed out of Eden, or was banished from living, and Adam and Eve, we are told that they live east of Eden. They go eastward. So, eastward, in Genesis, anyway, going east is an idea of going further and further away from Eden, from the idyllic, perfect relationship that we have with God. So, these folks are being sent eastward, away from Isaac, just to make sure that there wouldn't be any problems later on. And Abraham does it while he's still alive. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life, 175 years. Abraham breathed his last and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. Now, there, I think, is a little hidden promise of the whole idea that there is life after death. We know the New Testament says that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, and right here we're told that Abraham was gathered to his people. Isaac and Ishmael, his sons, buried him in the cave of Machpelah. Remember, that is the only that's the only property Abraham actually owned, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, east of Mamre, the field that Abraham purchased from the Hittites. There Abraham was buried with Sarah his wife. After the death of Abraham, God blessed Isaac his son, and Isaac settled at Beer Lahai Roi. And remember, that means the well of the living one who sees. Pray that has been a blessing to you. I'll see you in the next video.